Hey everyone, my name is Rebecca Linton and I have the privilege of being the Women's Ministry Director at the Refuge. The Refuge has been a residential addiction ministry serving men and women coming out of addiction for more than 18 years now. The men's ministry opened in 1999 and the women's ministry just opened in March of 2018, following the same principles and guidelines that the men have benefited from for almost 2 decades. So in the course of that program, we seek to see men and women come from homelessness and hopelessness and addiction and fear and anxiety and mistrust and anger to a place where they can process all of that, where they can be safe, and then move through a process that will help them grow as men and women of God, all the way to being responsible citizens, to being mothers and fathers who can love their kids well, to being daughters and sons who care for their parents and their friends and their siblings, and just friends, good friends and neighbors in the world. So we do that through a couple of phases. Phase 1 starts out where you're rebuilding trust and having some boundaries, and that can be hard. There's a lot of structure, but it's built that way on purpose to help you take a 180 from the life that you're living and invest yourself fully into, let's try something different. What I'm doing now isn't working, so I want to try something new. And there's a lot of structure, not a lot of freedom, not a lot of responsibility, but that changes as you go throughout the ministry. You move into phase 2 and you get more contact with family. You also get to grow in relationships with the men or women around you, and you get to start trying out work a little bit and getting back into the community with community service and things like that. And then as you move into phase 3, you get to work full-time, or you start to work full-time. And that allows you to get a little bit of a stipend, so you have some financial means there. And then you're able to move into phase 4, which is our launch process. And so we want to walk through everything from getting your license and social security card and health insurance to where you're going to work, what's your budget going to be, what kind of relationships do you have, and how do those need to grow or change. So we want to walk you all the way through this process and then have you graduate to be a man or woman who's able to walk with the people around them openly, to love people around them, to receive love, to hold a full-time job, to be responsible, but really to know first and foremost that they're a child of God who has this huge purpose ahead of them. That's what we want for you. So we know that it can be intimidating coming into the Refuge sometimes, and our hope is that when you see these videos, you'll know that we're real people too, and we're not perfect, any of us, but we want to do our best to serve you. So I want to introduce you to a couple of the women who have been here since the beginning of the women's ministry, and in their time have learned a lot and grown a lot, but they started where you maybe are. And so I want them to answer a couple of questions that you might have that I know they had at the beginning, and we hope that that will serve you well.
It is free. We are a no-cost ministry, but we do work. And so a couple of months into the ministry, you'll start to work a job, and you'll work every other week. And that will be your payment for like room and board and food and things like that. And also some of that money will go back into the ministry to help the ladies behind you.
We're here on Monday mornings, every Monday at 9 a.m. on Broad and Terrace.
All you have to do is come in on orientation Mondays at 9 o'clock and go through an interview process and then application process, and then that's pretty much all you got to do. It's really easy.
You do not have to stay the whole time. It is an open door ministry, but it's important to stay the whole time. We really want you to be able to grow and learn everything that you need to learn and have all the tools that you need to integrate back into the real world. And so the 13-month process is important. Yes, we are tobacco free, and it's not an easy thing to do when you first come in here, to just put the cigarettes down or whatever it is that the tobacco that you're using, but it's a good thing. And I mean, what better time to, do it all, give it all up.
Detoxing in the Refuge, it's rough, but you have a lot of support to help you get through it. I detoxed in the Refuge. I think I went through the sickness for about 3 days. It didn't last too long.
Coming in the house and knowing that girls went through detox and went through the pain and suffering gives you a little bit of hope, and just they actually do understand like what you're going through, and they can actually like talk you through it.
You cannot have your children at the house, but we do have a ministry that we partner with called Safe Families, and they will take your children and place them with a safe family for the entire amount of time that you're in the ministry. And these are people that are from our church families, and they've been, you know, background checked and all that sort of thing, and but they're an option outside of children's services. So this family will not take custody of your children, but they will keep your children safe, and you'll be able to visit with them and all those sorts of things. So it's a really amazing opportunity.
We do have phone calls and family days and home visits, so where you can see your kids.
Mainly yourself and your willingness, but also like there's a list of things on the website that you are able to bring with you, and those are the items that you're allowed to bring into the house with you.
If you don't have everything that you need to bring, we'll provide for you, and we'll get the things that you don't have.
The house is a home, and it is filled with a real family. And so there are great times, there are fun times, and there are hard times, and there's work to be done, just like any other family. And it's a house. It's not a facility. It's not a hospital.
Coming into a home full of love and peace was different from what I came from. But it's a house full of women. We all go through life together. We love being there. We are choosing to be there with our whole hearts. So that matters a lot, and it changes the atmosphere completely.
The house is great. It's warm, it's cozy, it's full of love. You're safe there, it's peaceful, and sisters that love you and care for you.
It is a real home, and it's probably been the realest home I've ever been a part of.